Chant pour Tous is just a name that I give to an event that meets for conditions, for rules, that are that it has to be free, it has to be open to everyone, it has to be only voice and body, like no instruments, and it has to be fully improvised, like the music is fully improvised. And any event that meets those four conditions can be called a Chant pour Tous. And that's basically it. There are many things going around that, but that's the essence of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
The beginning, it starts to fade away, like a legend, like disappearing in history. No, the beginning was a very exciting time. Well, it goes back to when I discovered vocal improv, discovering Bobby in 2010. And I started with creating a co-improvisation band. We were 3 at the beginning and we didn't know what we were doing, but we were having lots of fun and we were co-improvising mostly. And we did our first gigs. And during the first concert, we did things like Bobby would do, we give people parts, we made them improvise with us, and we felt something really special when we did that, like, this hard to describe feeling that I guess most of us experience when doing vocal improv together, like something almost communion, like in a non-religious way. And after this concert, I went to see my fellow band mates and told them, okay, guys, I think we need a project just to share this vocal improv magic, with everyone. I think we need a separated project just for this, because from the beginning I had these two different visions, two different goals. Like I really wanted to develop the artistry of vocal improv and like train on my skills and create bands and try to reach like a professional level or something like that and train people. And I had this on one corner of my mind. And on the other side, I just wanted to share vocal improv with as many people as possible. So we thought, okay, we need a project for this, and Chant pour Tous was born out of this desire.
In what year?
2012. But actually, I think the first concert was end of 2011.
Mm-hmm.
That was why I hesitated. But first Chant pour Tous was in 2012, March 2012 in Lyon. Yeah.
I came across the movement in 2013 because I had met Gaël earlier in the year, and he kept talking about this thing happening once a month called Chant pour Tous. And I went to my first Chant pour Tous, and then I went to all of them as much as I could. Good. Discovering this kind of freedom in singing with a lot of people for a full evening. At the time, it was 3 hours of singing with just a small break in between. And the feeling was just amazing. And because it was improvisation, it was new every time. So I was never getting fed up with what was offered. And I guess that at the time also vocal improvisation really got really dear to my heart, and I wanted to commit to that the most possible. So that's why I kept returning. I think that for some people there is an obvious connection, like there is an element of causality, meaning that they got into vocal improvisation thanks to Chant pour Tous, and because of that they got interested in that, and they started going to workshops, and then they wanted to do more and they started teaching. So for some people that's the story, that's the narrative. For other people, I've got the impression that it's the opposite. They got to discover first some workshops, and then because of workshops, they were hearing about Chant pour Tous. They went to some Chant pour Tous, and then maybe some of them decided to become teacher, maybe some of them not. Yeah, what I can say for sure is, it's my impression, of course, and you tell me if it's right or not, but there is definitely a connection between the fact that the French community is that developed and the fact that Chant pour Tous is all over the place.
I think so.
I think it plays a big role. And then what is the role of Chant pour Tous in people committing to, learning vocal improvisation and becoming facilitators? That I don't know. But for sure, it is helping develop the community of participants of vocal improvisation.
First of all, for me, the 4 conditions, the 4 rules of Chant pour Tous are not values, in my head at least. Of course, they could be values in someone's eyes, but for me, it's not about values. It's just about, okay, we're going to play a game, we need rules to define what the game is. And I could have, decided otherwise. And those are the values, because my goal at the beginning was I wanted vocal improv to spread. I wanted as many people as possible to discover and experience vocal improv. And I wanted us to conquer the world with vocal improv, and so that's why I think the open to everyone is there, and that's probably why the free is there as well, It's just strategic. It's not values. It's just a strategy to get more people. So I think that's the main reason why those are here.
Yeah.
Yeah. From the very beginning, we knew that we wanted to invite everyone to really s'approprier. How do you say that in English?
Make their own.
Make their own the concept, like we told everyone, okay, if you like Chant pour Tous, feel free to organize them, feel free to lead them. You can use the name, you can use everything we have, like communication material, which at the beginning was very little, but pretty quickly we had a logo, we had a website, we had pictures, we had videos, and we told people, you can use that. It's free, it's open source. That was very clear from the beginning, and again, I think that was a strategical move, you know.
It was.
And then time went by, and other questions arised, like, okay, should we take this direction or that direction with the website? Who's deciding? At the beginning, it was a bit blur. We were not so sure, so we had to clarify a few things. And yeah, it took some time before we really clarified that Chant pour Tous had no leader, had no center, had no structure, and it's just as if, you start a game and you say, okay, these are the rules, and whoop, who wants to play, and the rules might evolve, and there is no federation or league or structure or anything. On the website, it was a bit different, and I thought, okay, the website, I'm gonna keep the ownership, I'm gonna keep the leadership. It's gonna be my website, and I'm gonna find people who want to help, and I have a wonderful team, and Camille is part of this team, helping me with the moderation and stuff like that, and it's really separated, like yeah.
It was very easy. So the first 2 years, between 2013 and 2015, I was living in Lyon, and Gaël was already announcing that everyone could facilitate Chant pour Tous, but I didn't feel the need. I was very nourished about the monthly Chant pour Tous in Lyon. I never felt like adding my own Chant pour Tous, but it was very clear for me that if I wanted to, I could. And then in 2015, I moved to Canada, and there I was missing Chant pour Tous, and I did not hesitate. I started Chant pour Tous there because I knew that I was allowed, and all the tools were already there in 2015. I used the website. I wrote my first articles to, share my experience there, and so for me it was very, very fluid. The way Chant pour Tous and the structure of Chant pour Tous was transmitted. Yeah. because some people started to organize some Chant pour tous. And I guess that what explains that Chant pour tous actually worked in some areas is really when we had some people who were really holding the flame of Chant pour tous, not once, not twice, but really on a regular basis with a lot of passion. This is when it really started to spread, I think. That's one explanation. And then about the resource thing, at the very beginning, there was none, just the website. So the tools of the website that you could use. But in terms of how do you facilitate a Chant pour tous, you could call him. He was like super available. And I think I used that resource many times, like calling him like, well, what can I do? But then once you used that resource, you just had to try things out. And that's, I think, at the time, that was a perfect, and it is still now a perfect way of training at facilitating a group, because you have so few resources, and at the same time, you have the freedom of trying things out. Then you just try, and things are working or not, and then you learn from that, and the next Chant pour tous is getting better, and so on. And now with time, some resources developed on the website because some people wrote articles, and now you can find some advice, pieces of advice about how to organize a Chant pour tous, but also how to facilitate a Chant pour tous. Some facilitators, they wrote articles about how they structured their Chant pour tous. So you can find that on the website, and it can be helping for you. Yeah. Did I answer?
Yeah. And we were really encouraging people to do it even without skills.
Yes.
I think that played a role, and we still do. You know, we always repeat that you don't have to be a good singer, you don't have to be a good teacher, you don't have to be experienced in these things. If you want to organize and facilitate a Chant pour tous, you can do it even without experience, you know. And I think some people might have the opposite speech, I suppose so. And I can understand that, you know, if you want to support quality facilitation, you know, you might not want someone who's really out of tune and out of time and without experience to organize and lead a circle. I can understand that. But once again, we didn't want quality more than we wanted number. We wanted as many people as possible to experience vocal improv, no matter the quality level, you know, the musical level. So we really told people, and we still do, that everyone can do it. I think that played a role. Also, people don't have to ask for permission or anything, you know. We often have people asking us,
Yes.
okay, I would like to organize a Chant pour tous. What is the procedure? No, how do you say that? Protocol?
Yeah, protocol.
And we answer, there is none. Just do it. So simplicity, I guess, it helps. And last thing that comes to my mind about that question is a sense of belonging. I think played a role, an important role in Chant pour tous to spread as much as it did. I think people like to feel part of something. Especially nowadays, well, you know, there is no religion anymore for most people and stuff like that. Many people need to belong to something, have something lacking, I think, in that area of their life. Anyway, when people started to lead Chant pour tous or to go to Chant pour tous, and they would add their Chant pour tous to the website, you know, they would be part of something, you know. Something bigger, and I think that's an important part.
Yeah.
Do you think so?
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. We've been doing something that's also very strange for the French spirit, you know, and for the French culture. And many people here, they don't understand why we did it that way and how it works, you know. That's a bit of a revolution even here. So yeah, it's not a typical French thing at all.
No.
So it would be weird everywhere. And I don't see why it wouldn't work
It's just how passionate were the first people who held that space, and that's why it worked. And I'm not sure that the culture of the country played a good part in that.
Yeah.
It can, maybe a bit. In France, it is true that it might be easier to find a free place, a place that you don't have to pay for, in order to organize something. And that is also true in Belgium, and it might be not as true in USA, for example. But that is a detail, because you can always organize a Chant pour Tous in your backyard, in your living room, and that can be a free space. So anything that has to do with the culture of the country, I would not relate on that. I don't resonate with that so much. My experience is that if there is a person that is sufficiently passionate, it's gonna work.
Yeah, I agree with that. And you were mentioning passionate people at the beginning of the project, but it's still going on, you know. I
Yes.
think that's really what makes it work.
Yes.
It's the people and their level of passion.
Yes.
You know,
And
the fire.
it doesn't even have to do with a level. When I started, I was barely a good singer. I was very an amateur singer.
Yeah.
I was coming from very, very far, and far from vocal improvisation, I mean, and it worked instantaneously in Brussels. And it is not because I was a good singer, it's just because I was holding the flame very, very bad.
Yeah.
And I kept holding it for a long time on a very regular basis. So that's the only explanation, I think.
And that's very attracting for people.
Yeah.
And yes, it spreads to other countries now. For a long time, it was mostly in France and Belgium, but now we have Chant pour Tous in Italy. For some time, there's been Chant pour Tous in Germany. There's been a few in the UK. Where else? In La Réunion, of course.
So in Canada, but long time ago.
In Canada, but it's not going on anymore,
No.
is it?
No.
Yeah. So nowadays,
yeah. Switzerland, Germany, Belgium,
Switzerland, yeah,
Italy,
Germany, Belgium,
and
France.
UK. Is it continuing in UK?
I'm not sure if it's continuing in the UK right now.
I'm not sure
I don't
either.
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it seems to be working pretty well. So again, I don't think it matters. I don't think the culture matters so much. We would have to see how it goes in the US, because I guess culturally it's a little bit different than most of Europe in some aspects. So
yeah, give me a plane ticket.
Yeah, it would probably work.
I will start Chant pour Tous in the US. Yeah. I don't believe that there is something with the USA that it's not possible.
Yeah. And again, if we go back 13 years and we explain people about Chant pour Tous in France, they would look at us and go, "Nah, I don't think that would work."
Yeah.
I just wanted to keep spreading the way it does. We are having more and more events every year. Right now, it's like 50 to 60 events per month on the website, I think, something like that. And it's growing and growing, so I just wanted to keep growing that way. I hope we can translate the website soon. I really hope so, because I think it would help. I think there are I think that would really help the communities who don't speak French, because for example, in Italy, they do not post their Chant pour Tous on the website. They do it with their own tools, and I guess it could really help people to connect. So I hope we can translate that soon. And I tend to see Chant pour Tous as a blessed project, in the way that it's always been easy. I've never had to really do an effort for anything. I've been using lots of energy.
Yes, you did.
But it's always been very simple.
Yes.
And everything just works very well. So I tend to, I'm not very into this kind of belief, but I tend to think that Chant pour Tous is just, something that is wanted by whatever, and that it will grow anyway. No, the most challenging part was the very beginning, I guess, before things were really, before the 4 rules were really there, and before the project had a clear frame. Do we say frame for cadre in English?
It would
a
work.
clear
Yeah.
frame. And a clear governance system.
Yes.
I tend to repeat that all the time to everyone starting a project or a group, but I think to have a clear governance system and a clear frame is the basis of a healthy project. And like many people, we weren't wise enough to have that from the very beginning. So we struggled a little bit when we had to clarify these things. But from the moment these were clear, I think there was no real challenge.
Yes.
Mm.
I second that.
Mm.
For me, the answer is quite similar to the one I gave earlier with the relationship between Chant pour Tous and people who facilitate and people who participate to workshops. It's kind of the same thing, I think. Chant pour Tous, if everything goes well, it could really be an atout, an advantage for the development of the well as the platform of vocal improvisation at the global level. Because Chant pour Tous, because it's free and so open, it's just an open door for getting more entering into the vocal improvisation community. So I think like the obvious link is really that Chant pour Tous is one door that you can push to get into the vocal improvisation community, but it's also a door that you can open when you are inside and you want more practice. You want to meet with people with whom you can relate, and then Chant pour Tous might be a key. So it's really, a back and forth trip between discovering what vocal improvisation is and also getting more into vocal improvisation and getting with people, getting in touch with people.
Yeah. For me, I guess I would like the international community to know a little more about Chant pour Tous, because I think many people are either not aware at all of what Chant pour Tous is, or they don't understand clearly how it works. So I would like that, but
Yes.
I think the website not being translated is is not helping, and we didn't communicate much in English. So this kind of interview is precious. Thank you. I think we need in Chant pour Tous to just communicate more, like with articles and translating the website and doing this kind of videos. And I would like the Chant pour Tous community to engage more with the well, especially on the website.
Yes.
And this is a bit tricky because they don't really need to, because they have the Chant pour Tous website that works pretty well for the needs that we have. And also, we've been very strict on the Chant pour Tous website and the Chant pour Tous social medias, that we do not allow anything that is not Chant pour Tous to be there. And we had to be very careful, especially at the beginning, with that, because we feared that we could easily be like polluted, invaded with vocal improv workshops and stuff that were not free and stuff like that. So we have very, very clear rules, and the downfall of that is that it isolates us a little bit in the Chant pour Tous community. So I'm not quite sure yet how do we do that. We have some ideas, we are working on it, but we would like the Chant pour Tous community to engage more with the well, and every Chant pour Tous facilitator to post their events on the website. I've been writing an article recently about it. Didn't have much success. We are thinking about other strategies.
When I watch the people who actually, for whom it worked to help the flame, what they had in common is that vocal improvisation came as a switch of life, in the sense that vocal improvisation became a thing for them, like a definition of their life and the direction that they took in life. And it is these people who were successful at maintaining the flame, whether it be Chant pour Tous or even the workshops or other things, that like the actions that they were putting in place for vocal improvisation worked. And they all have in common that vocal improvisation became really the center of their life. And yeah, so I don't know. That's my answer.
You know, I tend to use nonviolent communication a lot when I think about life. So for me, everything we do is a strategy that meets different needs. So I've been asking myself a lot, okay, what needs of mine does vocal improv meet? And I think it meets many of them. And I think that's why it's the center of my life, because it fills lots of things for me. One of them being creativity. I've always wanted to create stuff. From when I was a child, I was drawing, and then later I was writing, and then I was writing songs, and I want to create all the time. So vocal improv is a very nice way to do that. Also, I love beauty. Beauty is something that I really look for in life, like all the time, in everything. And I love to find beauty in music, and so I find lots of beauty in vocal improv. And there are actually many other needs. I could go on like this for a long time, you know, because there are some like almost spiritual ones, and there are some very practical ones. I like sometimes to be very pragmatic. Do you say pragmatic? Yeah. Like for example, I think I'm someone who wants success, you know. For some reasons, I've always been attracted to being in a successful position in a way, like being someone who's somehow famous, you know. I've always been attracted to that. And I guess that's one of the reasons why vocal improv became the center of my life. I like to say that to people publicly because I think that's something you will not hear a lot. And I think that's something important, you know, to be as lucid, as aware as possible on deeper motivations. So I think I felt, okay, this is a very small world, very niche. I will have much more chance to become successful in this very small world than what I was doing before. So I could go on and on now.
What I found with vocal improvisation is really people that I like very much. When I think about the reason why I stick quickly and instantaneously to vocal improvisation is because I met that guy. And I really like the guy, like really as a friend and as an individual. I thought that's the kind of person I like to hang out with. And because I was also passionate with singing, just this meant sense, really. And I guess that a lot of people that I've encountered in the vocal improvisation sphere, they have also that answer in some ways. They like the people who are inside of that community, and therefore they want to be part of that community, and then it's growing. So that's a big part of my answer there. And then there was also that aspect of, I quickly understood that I was being part of something new, like never seen before, a community that is underground, building up to be something that will be overground for sure. And that is very exciting. And it also gave me a lot of freedom. I'm someone who likes to create new things and not to have any kind of borders when I create. And I saw a big opportunity to just be free to create a new world, basically. This is what we are doing. We invent the pedagogy of vocal improvisation. We invent pretty much everything. And even how the community is structured, we are inventing that as well. So that's amazing. Like I feel like a politician who is not committed to creating a society, but more someone who is still committing to create a world as itself. So it's very, very exciting.
I agree with
Yeah.
everything. Yeah, I agree with those two things. I love the community as well. Just want to expand on that a little bit. I love the vocal improv community. You know, I've been into several activities just like you did probably, and you know that every activity attracts different people. You know, and the vocal improv community is my favorite.
Yeah.
I think it's a very interesting balance between I don't know how to say it, you know, somehow being interested in spirituality,
but not too much.
But not too much, you know, a balance between something, I don't know, very open, very, very connected, and something grounded.
Yeah.
Because there are many
coolest people.
Yeah. Yeah.